Okay, so imagine this. What if a priceless piece of history was hiding right under your nose? Or, in this case, right under your feet, used as a doormat for decades? Well, today we're diving into the absolutely incredible story of a simple stone tablet that went from a muddy courtyard to a multi-million-dollar auction. So get this. In 1913, this stone's only job was to scrape mud off of people's boots. You fast forward to 2024, and that very same stone sells for $5 million. I mean, that's not just a journey, it's one of the wildest transformations in the history of archaeology.
So how does that even happen, right? What in the world turns a regular old garden stepping stone into a priceless artifact? That's the exact puzzle we are going to piece together today. Our story kicks off way back in 1913, surrounded by the noise and steam of progress. They're building the Palestine-Egypt Railway, literally cutting a new path through this ancient, historic land. As the crew is laying down track, a pickaxe hits something with a thud. It's not just another rock. Buried there in the sand, they pull out this flat, rectangular slab of marble, about 2 feet by 2 feet. To them, just another piece of rubble, right? They do notice some faint, kind of strange writing on it, but it's in a language none of them have ever seen before. So what does one of the workers do with this mysterious, inscribed stone? He takes it home, plops it down in his courtyard, and for the next 30 years, uses it to wipe his feet. No joke. Just think about that for a second. For 30 years, this unbelievable piece of history was just there, getting stepped on, rained on, completely ignored. A massive secret, hiding in the most obvious place you can imagine. Okay, let's fast forward to 1943. The worker finally decides to sell the stone, and this is where our story takes a very sharp turn, because it happens to catch the eye of one very specific person. An archaeologist, a guy named Jacob Kaplan, comes to inspect the stone. And, unlike everyone else for the last 3 decades, he sees way more than just an old rock. He sees history. He instantly recognizes the writing. The script, it's Paleo-Hebrew, a style of writing that was used in antiquity for over 1,000 years. So Kaplan knows right there in that moment that this stone is incredibly, incredibly old. He buys it on the spot. So Kaplan's got the artifact. He knows it's an authentic piece of ancient history. But the biggest question of all is still hanging in the air. What message was so important that somebody took the time to carve it into this marble tablet thousands of years ago? Kaplan gets his colleagues together to help him decipher the faint, worn-down text. And as they start to translate, the very first few lines make them stop in their tracks. They're hinting at a discovery so big it's almost unbelievable. As more and more of the inscription becomes clear, it hits them. They realize exactly what they're looking at. These are some of the most famous words ever written, the 10 Commandments. Kaplan starts to think he might be holding an actual stone tablet of the commandments from the Old Testament. Now, to really get how massive this would be, you gotta remember the biblical story. God gives Moses the tablets, Moses gets angry and smashes them, a second set is made, and those are stored in the legendary Ark of the Covenant, which then just disappears, becoming one of history's greatest lost treasures. So for a moment, it really seems like the impossible has happened. Could this stepping stone, found by some railway workers, actually be one of the original long-lost tablets of Moses? The idea itself is just staggering. But as it so often goes in history, the first, most incredible explanation isn't always the right one. As Kaplan and other researchers looked at the tablet more and more closely, they found something that just didn't quite fit. Okay, so here's the key difference. The tablet is actually missing the 3rd commandment, the one about not taking God's name in vain. And in its place, there's a totally different order, to build a temple on a place called Mount Gerizim. And this changed everything. So what's Mount Gerizim? Well, it happens to be the most sacred site for the Samaritans, an ancient religious group closely related to but also distinct from Judaism. For them, this mountain, not Jerusalem, is the center of their entire faith. This one little detail was the smoking gun. And this was the final piece of the puzzle. Further research confirmed that the railway workers had found the tablet on the exact site of an ancient Samaritan synagogue from the early Middle Ages.
It wasn't one of Moses' tablets, but it was something just as remarkable. The oldest known stone inscription of the Samaritan 10 Commandments. So while it didn't solve the mystery of the Ark of the Covenant, this tablet was still an incredibly rare and important artifact. But its journey was far, far from over. Now let's look at how it went from a scholar's private study to the high-stakes auction block.
Dr. Kaplan treasured the stone for the next 50 years. After he passed away, his wife sold it in 1995. It passed through a few more hands pretty quietly until December 2024, when it finally hit the public auction stage, totally ready for its big moment.
Its age, its unique Samaritan text, and of course its absolutely unbelievable backstory created a total frenzy among collectors. When that final gavel came down, the price was a jaw-dropping $5 million.
The tablet was purchased by an anonymous buyer who thankfully pledged to donate it to an institution in Israel. So, in the end, this humble relic that spent 30 years as a simple stepping stone will be preserved and admired by the public for generations to come. A pretty great ending.
It's really an amazing end to an incredible story. I mean, from a muddy stepping stone in some guy's courtyard to a multi-million-dollar museum piece, it really makes you wonder, what other priceless pieces of history are out there, just hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right person to finally see them for what they truly are?